doggy banger. Something that I can
Yeah. I was going to tell you about this.
My dad
I'm serious. Namanda, 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 Namanda. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Welcome to our Shotsuki service for the month of February. Nice to have everyone here. It's always a special, Shotsuki is always a special part of our Jodo Shinchu tradition, and to be able to recognize the people that we have lost in our families. So it's a touching service, and we kind of take turns to honor those we have lost, and others, maybe it may be the next month or the following month for them. And so different families step forward at those times. And it's very nice to see that mutual support that comes through our Sangha members. So today, we notice Lenny's not here. She's a little bit under the weather, so we have little mechanical Lenny here that we will utilize for some of our gathas, okay? So I'd like to go over the service order with you. So for today, I'm going to be reading the Hyogyakumon, announcing the purpose of this gathering, this Shotsuki service, and then we'll read the Shotsuki names for this month. Please come up in Osho code during the reading of the names. Okay. Thereafter, we'll have the chanting of the Sambujo and the Amida Kyo. Following that, we'll sing the Gatha Seiya, and then the three treasures. Then we'll have our Dharma message, and then we'll have a final Gatha, Ondok-san. Okay. Thereafter, we can have some acknowledgments. If there are announcements to share, we'll have them at that time. Okay, so with that, we will begin. Please join me in Gassho. Temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages. Namo Kie Butsu, Namo Kie Ho, Namo Kie So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. These are the Shotsuki names. Abe Hikaru, Abe Honji, Bailey Jori, Hayame Shigeru, Hayashi Hanae, Hirai Nobukichi, Hisoka Toranosuke, Honda Akiko, Ito Infant Asako, Iwataki Koyuki, 岩滝、波、加納、一、川端、玲子、川原、秀夫、川上、吉松、川村、増美、小橋、重一、この、栄子、宝前、インフェント、健次郎、松本、インフェント、勝、松尾、インフェント、新、松坂、宗、三船、三重、もみ、豊、中村、恵美、中村、新助、中山、豊、新田、インフェント、和美、西田、浜子、野田、インフェント、久し、のりえ、インフェント、むつお、おぎ、ひとし、おきの、わたる、おきた、と、おつ、かんぞう、柴田、グレイス、島田、きわ、白石、みさお、杉山、慶一郎。砂川、インフェン、常忠、末安、栄、須沢、インフェン、吉見、田島、美沙、高木、新日、宝、昌平、田代、敏子、田原、インフェン、嘉代、研綿、圭一、小木綿、インフェン、三つお、友俊、インフェン、三つ子、土屋、ジョージ、牛島、インフェン、健次郎、和田、花、山形、勝一、山中、Ben、山岡、昇、オスカー、吉田、岩蔵、吉村、インフェン、邦子、吉原、富代、T。These are the Shotsuki names for the month of February. If there are additions or corrections, please notify the office. Now we'll have Sutra chanting Sambujo on page 2425 and Amida Kyo on page 103. Namanda, 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 Namanda. 四辺街道金言瑠璃 パリ語上上路各役員今言ルリアリシャコ百種名の理言直視自重連芸男女者輪小式小公大式陽公尺式釈公略式白公微妙公血者輪王国ら国土上重尿税空毒将軍ルシャリホ異部国土上差天学黄金維持昼夜六時二遊曼荼羅慶五国修上上位小丹各位英国上修陽慶空陽他方十万六分即位自費自元と本国本直教業シャリ法国ら国土上重尿税空毒将軍武士シャリ法非国上修十奇妙座敷市長白国弱オムシャリ下領賓が愚名市長税商州長昭夜六時水和下音高音年長五根五力七母大文那小道文行政東方合同修上門税音に開出念仏念法念相者利法行物意思長実税祭王将少少医者が異部国土無三幕宗者利法五部国土小無三幕土神妙画教無実税商修長改税阿弥陀仏欲療法温泉流園芸少佐者利法異部国土未付水道情報五十九法ラモ水味妙音異尿百戦十角同時草門税総心身シャリ法五部国土上重尿税空毒将軍 Okay, now we'll have Gatha Seiya on page 226 in the Purple Book. And please remain standing for the three treasures on page 8. Okay, nice try, Sensei. Treasures on page 8. Okay. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in the spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay, please be seated. Okay, now we'll have our Dharma message. Today I wanted to talk about everyday life as our practice, and we hear that quite often in our Shin Buddhist temples. Everyday life is our practice. And sometimes seems like it resonates well, but people don't exactly know what we mean, and kind of like because we don't meditate, we have to say something else. So let's say this or something. It's not quite so thoroughly understood or convinced of ourselves. So through this everyday life, I think we can learn about ourselves, we learn about others in our daily interactions. We learn about human nature and our own self-concern and all these things, and we learn about how the ego acts and interacts, how it rears up and comes to the front in different situations. Right? So through this, I think we are able to learn. We just read the three treasures, and when we say, I take refuge in the Sangha, freed from the bondage of selfishness. And so this selfishness they're pointing out our self-centeredness that comes up, and to be able to free ourselves from that. So at the same time, we have this ego-centeredness, and that is part of our survival mechanism, right? And so it's not like we can remove it completely, and nor do we want to. But maybe, just maybe, we can come to view our ego as this mischievous little kid in the backyard, rather than this uncontrollable monster or demon that's dominating our lives and bringing chaos everywhere. So when I was thinking about this, Prince Shotoku came to mind, and on our altar, most of our temples have this scroll over here on the right side of Prince Shotoku. And so he's up on our altar because he was really impressed with the Buddhist teachings very early in Japanese history, and he was encouraging more of the Dharma to be brought over from China, and bringing this dialogue with China to be able to expose the Japanese people and the culture to these Buddhist values and traditions. So he was really emphasis to bring the Dharma. This is why he's placed on our altars. Harmony. And so he has said harmony should be valued, quarrels should be avoided. Everyone has his biases, and few men are farsighted. Okay? When the superiors are in harmony with each other, when the inferiors are friendly, then affairs are discussed quietly, and the right view of matters prevail. So I don't care for the superiors and the inferiors, but I think he's referring to people who are in leadership position, and then everyone else, as part of the community. If the leaders are in harmony, then everyone can quietly, peacefully discuss things among themselves. So looking at this and having these thoughts coming into the Japanese culture, I think you look at all Buddhist cultures and you can see group values, welfare of the community are prioritized, emphasized over individual interests. And but in Japan overall, and in Buddhist countries overall, I see this instances. We can think about all our different activities, and we see things happening. We encourage eating together, shotsuki service. We have special treats brought here. We know we come down and get to visit, have some tea, and visit with each other. Talking and eating together as a sangha is a big part of our temples, and we see this so many times we have committees, we have the bazaar. Lots of times we laugh at the stories of, getting ready for bazaar time. I'm not talking about this temple, but a different temple. People would, the sushi rollers, they would all be rolling sushi, and at a different temple, one of the experts, one of the and so, someone new comes in or wants to learn how to roll sushi, she will take them in under her wing and show how to roll it properly and nicely. Then it comes, her break time comes and she leaves, and another two ladies lean in, don't listen to her. Okay, this is how it's really done. And so they'll show their way of rolling the sushi, right? And so different views come up, and the people who were there learning, maybe they'll kind of giggle at that, and we see this happen every single year. This happens every year. And so different interests, different perspectives come up, and they don't dare say something to each other directly, but you see this kind of ego play going on, right? And we might see this in other things as well. Even talking about bazaar stations, what should we sell? What can we sell? I like this, but I like this, and this other bazaar had this, and we like to do our own way, and it's not conflicting, but we share these different perspectives, and hopefully it doesn't get to be at an argument level, but we have these different perspectives that do come up, right? So pretty much every situation you could think of, even I like this dance, but we always do this dance, and you identify with what you are accustomed to and things like this, or maybe you grew up at a different temple and they had a really popular dance that everyone enjoyed, and do you want to encourage your new temple to do this, or do you want to hold back a little bit and let them figure things out? And so there's always this interplay, and able to learn more about ourselves. So in Buddhism, often we hear life is suffering, life is dukkha, life is incomplete. Okay. So just recently, we're talking about experience at a different temple where Sharman grew up, and there was Mr. Adachi, and so his daughter, similar age to Sharman, and they knew each other for a long, long time. But in talking to the daughter, she always felt embarrassed because her father had a military background, right? And so he would be in charge of the Dharma school, and kind of like drew the line very clearly. Maybe he was a sergeant in the army or something like this, and he would have the kids marching around and very, very disciplined, right? And so in talking to the daughter, she felt she was always so embarrassed that this is her father that's doing this, and Sharma told her, no, we always appreciated your father. He kind of kept everybody in line, and we really needed that. There were so many kids at that time, and so this dialogue's going on. But as the daughter, each of us has a very different perspective that we're able to learn from and gather things. So as I'm thinking about this and how the different kids were reacting, I recall another story, different story, but not even to do with the temple. A horse trainer, okay? He was a very accomplished horse trainer, and he was put in charge of running these stables. And so he likes everything very, very particular. He likes things just so. First thing he wanted to do was clean everything up. So clean, everything looked clean. The weeds were cut down. You know, there's, I don't know, 40, 50 horses in the stables and here and there. And so, but anytime on the walkways, if a horse would poop, they'd clean it up immediately, right? You wouldn't be there for 5 minutes. Somebody there working would clean it up. So it always looked clean and nice. So all the workers appreciated that. They wanted it to stay that way, so they worked really hard. And so they appreciated, they learned from him how to train horses, how to keep the stable just so. Okay, so as they were talking about how things went at their stable, they thought, you know, one of the things that takes a lot of time is feeding time. Twice a day, they take all the horses back to their own stalls. They might have different kind of supplements and food, so they eat separately instead of all together. So they lead them in. And so it takes time to lead all those horses, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, and bring them in. And so during the discussion, I said, well, maybe we could teach them to go into their stalls on their own. So, wow, think we can do that? I don't know if we can do that. So, you know, but they're accustomed to training horses. And thought, well, maybe we can try it. And so first a few at a time, and so they would let a few, maybe 3 or 4, and the horses know they're going to get fed, right? So some of them hurry on or trot into their stall. So if that happened, they would rehalter the horse and tie it up to the hitching post. And the others went in. So that horse had to wait till all the other horses got to eat, right? So after a while, the horses that hurried over there stopped hurrying, right? They know. None of them would trot over to their stall. They all walked in this orderly manner. So, wow, that's impressive. It really is impressive to think of that they don't have to take the time, each person leading 3, 4 horses at a time. They just let them loose and they wander into their own stalls one by one, perfectly in order. So thinking about that, you know, kind of amazing. But they learned as well. And I think there's kind of a parallel. I mean, they have just as strong, maybe more so, this survival instinct. But part of being a horse is to be connected, a part of the herd, right? Part of their horse sangha. And so to have this harmony that they're able to recognize the value with, the strength of, that they can learn to prioritize their own personal needs, become a little less important than this order, the harmony of the group as a whole. So I thought, gee, that's kind of a fitting example too of how this harmony and controlling of the self, this kind of works. So in the larger sutra, it says, led by their own desires and failing to reflect on their own foolishness, they come into conflict with others. So this is reminding us that, you know, when we are led by our own needs, our 3 poisons, greed, anger, ignorance, our own desires, then we come into conflict with others, with each other. But if we can minimize that, you know, not let it be so dominant, then maybe we can get along a little bit more comfortably. And it seemed like people recognize that. When they come to the temple, someone new comes here, and so kind of, it's a nice place. It's a peaceful setting, and they sense this harmony without someone telling them, you have to be in harmony. We don't say that, right? But they feel that, and they see that in the others in the room, something going on, you know, how people move. They see all these things that we adopt. And how did we adopt this, right? Everyday life. So all of these things we're told again and again that we have our three poisons, greed, anger, ignorance, and everyone has these. Everyone is an ordinary, foolish being, right? And this is something that even Shinran Shonin, he called himself an ignorant, foolish being. So he was a bonbu, right? So everybody is a bonbu, ignorant, foolish being. So it's not that we try to polish ourselves, that we get rid of these limitations, but when we acknowledge them and see them, then they don't become as dominant. So working together, doing anything, bazaar, Japanese goods sale, whatever we're working on, different kinds of committees, all the things we do, we come to learn patience, understanding. We're able to pause, breathe, and maybe not blurt out something we don't want to say. I should be more patient. Or maybe we even come to recognize they are being patient with me. So again, it's a reflection of the self. I'm learning something about myself by how everyone carries themselves. And we take turns being teacher and student. And it's quite natural to happen in this way. So we can become more accepting, more compassionate, more understanding, more patient. And this happens quite naturally. Another thing that Prince Shotoku said, let us cease from wrath, refrain from angry looks, nor let us be resentful when others differ from us. For all men have hearts, and each heart has its own leanings. Their right is our wrong, our right is their wrong. We're not ordinary men, for we are all one with another, wise and foolish, like a ring which has no end. So it seemed like these kind of words ring true, from the time of early Prince Shotoku times, and you read the news even today, see all these conflicts that are played out in every single day, and we see these words resonating. So if we really look, we're surrounded by all these opportunities to understand the Nembutsu teachings, to experience harmony, wa, and everyday life becomes our practice. Okay. So please join me in Gassho, and we will conclude the Dharma message portion. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda, Namanda. Okay. I'm scared to announce a second song. We know it quite well. All right. Please stand for the singing of Ondok-san. Nyorani dai no